Robert, California. You're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello.
Good. Thank you. By way of preamble, I told you, screener, I'm a constitutional law professor at UCLA Law School.
Okay.
By way of preamble, what do you mean when you say we're right, they're wrong, and that's the end of the story?
Well, you're asking two different things. When I wrap up a segment, I say we're right, they're wrong, meaning the people that I'm analyzing or disagreeing with or whatever. Are you calling to discuss the Constitution or my radio, the formatics of my radio program?
Well, I was just curious because I wanted to have honest dissent with you, and I wasn't sure that was possible given that statement that you make at the end of
Well, it's entirely possible, sir. I mean, hold on. The policy of the program is that people who disagree with me go to the front of the line, and I never draw first blood. As long as the person who's disagreeing with me is civil, I remain civil. The minute it turns course, I become coarse. So go ahead with your point.
I'm civil, but I'm trying to understand the syllogism where you're right and we're wrong. How does that?
Are you playing a game of criticizing the formatics of the program, or do you want to pick an issue and have a debate?
The issue is I don't believe that your knowledge of the Constitution really passes muster, and yet you invoke it quite a bit.
Okay, so what have I said about the Constitution where I've been wrong?
You say lots of things. I've heard you show a number of times.
Okay, so give me something where I'm wrong. Listen, sir, if you're a law professor at UCLA, you should be able to slam dunk me and make me look like an idiot with ease. So go ahead, make me look stupid.
Well, that's not my intent. My intent is when you make statements about the administration perverting the Constitution, not following the Constitution, you lose me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, which point?
Any of the points you said. I haven't memorized.
Is it the limits of the judiciary as described by Article 3, the limits of the Congress as the 18 enumerated powers, the 10th Amendment giving powers to the states? Let's talk about something. Would you like me to pick the topic? You're the one that called me.
I would only like you to respond when you say that the administration perverts the Constitution. What are you referring to?
Okay, when you take an organization like the American Constitution Society that has this belief that language is constantly evolving, therefore the Constitution evolves with language, that to me is nonsense. That means people can just redefine language and then go, oh, look, well, back in the day, the General Welfare Clause meant this, but today welfare means granting of products and services at taxpayer expense to recipients in our society. Look, it's there. It's constitutional. That sort of thing, sir.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you understand that part of the equal rights movement, when it was proliferating, was revolving around the Commerce Clause? Do you understand that?
The Commerce Clause.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. And I assume from your response you were not even aware the Commerce Clause was integral with respect to the civil rights movement.
But so what you're saying is, if you find a higher purpose, sir, that you can twist your.
I'm saying to you is that laws are interpreted.
Oh, so they don't actually mean anything based on the text of based on the text and the purpose. It's whatever an unelected person in a black robe thinks it means.
Not at all. Not at all. And by the way,
well, let me ask you, Mr. Law Professor, which is superior, case law or legislative law?
You're misinterpreting.
No, I'm not. You're telling me
the Constitution is interpreted.
Okay, no. Where does it say that in the Constitution, sir?
It doesn't say that anywhere.
So you're inventing that, sir. Tell me where this.
Bible, Mr. Wilkow.
Tell me where in Article 3 the Supreme Court or the judicial branch gets the power to, quote unquote, as you say it, interpret it. I have the Constitution open. I have Article 3 in front of me. You tell me where there's this interpretive clause.
The judicial body that is.
So it's not there.
I'm answering the question, but if you don't want to let me answer the question, I won't.
Okay, you're the victim. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm the victim. Well, your pejorative is not appreciated, sir. The judges of this country, state or federal, interpret the law based on the facts that are presented to them. Just the same as the Constitution, when issues of constitutional import are presented to the Supreme Court.
But what is the basis of their interpretation? Sir, hold on a second there. Now you're leading us astray. The Supreme Court is to interpret a law that is created based on the Constitution and its text, not their own interpretation, not an internet. He hung up on me. He hung up on me. I don't know what this is. I don't find anywhere in the United States Constitution the power of the Supreme Court to interpret the Constitution or of the appellate courts to interpret the Constitution. They can use the Constitution to interpret an unconstitutional law. But nowhere in this document does it say the court created by this document has the power to reinterpret this document, sir. I don't know where you're getting this from. I simply do not understand. Now, I gave this gentleman perfect opportunity as a UCLA law professor to make me look like a fool with all of his extensive knowledge. But maybe this is the way he runs his class. You see, I don't have a grade at stake. I don't have a grade at stake. I'm not worried that if I defeat him in a debate, he may sink my career. He hung up on me. I didn't hang up on him. As far as calling him the victim, this is a tactic to say something, and then the moment you may be interrupted for clarification purposes, oh, you're going to let me finish? Can I finish? Am I going to let me finish? Oh, this is what you people do. You talk up. Clarification, sir. You have all the time in the world. The floor is yours. Do me a favor, guys. Hey, do me a favor. What was his first name again? Robert? Go on the UCLA Law School page and find me a professor named Robert. Maybe we'll have to call him back. So, how did that work? I cite the Constitution. I ask for citation from a law professor. I receive no citation. Here's one for you. We're right. They're wrong. That's the end. Woo! Of the story. Robert, California, you're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello.
Yes. I've been listening to you for a couple of weeks, and I'm sort of mesmerized by your lack of intellectual analysis of the issues that you are discussing.
Are you a law professor at UCLA? Because I've been getting a lot of dummies coming out of that school calling me.
Yeah, right. No, I didn't. I'm not a dummy, and I'm not from UCLA. I noticed you went to the University of Florida, some school down in Florida.
Yes, some school down in Florida. The same school that Carol Browner went to and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Yes, the very same school.
You were a Sammy. I noticed that on your
Yes, I was a Sammy.
Right. Okay. In any event, I asked your screener what your take is on
what does my college and fraternity affiliation have to do with anything?
Just casual conversation, Andrew.
No, there's no such thing as casual conversation when you take that tone. But go ahead.
Don't get paranoid about it.
Okay, I'm paranoid.
I'm a liberal. I'm one of those liberals. You say that we all have lists. You notice I don't have one.
Oh, Robert, if you're as smart as you think you are, you knew that was one of the few satirical comments I make on this program.
Well, in all due respect, Andrew, you have no sense of humor, even though you think you do.
Okay, so you're angry. You're calling me up.
No, I'm not angry. I'm amused by your lack of ability to actually analyze.
Sir, pick a topic and let's see.
I told your screener. I want to know what your take is on the Second Amendment and the death penalty.
Okay, was I even discussing that, or are you just calling up with a random thing that you just want to take the program in Robert's direction?
It's very hard to understand exactly what you're discussing when I listen to your callers, because they're all over the landscape. But I'd like to know if we could...
Actually, they're focused like a laser, sir. The whole first hour of the program, we were talking about the good stewardship of capital and how the IMF canceled the debt to Haiti after we gave the IMF money that we borrowed from China, but the Chinese didn't cancel our debt, so we still owe that money plus interest. Or is that just some stupid analysis for people like you?
I heard your caller, who lives apparently in Michigan somewhere, and he sounded like an inbred human being who has no grasp whatsoever of what the world is about.
Wow.
Today.
Yeah. See, I love the liberal elitists.
No, you don't.
I do. I love this stuff. Keep talking. Okay.
You don't love liberal.
Okay. Now that you've wasted my time, what is it you wanted to call up on?
To know your take on the Second Amendment. Why, if you believe that gun control is an appropriate avenue to go down.
Do I have to read the Second Amendment to you?
You don't have to read anything to me if you don't choose to. I just want to know what your perspective is on the Second. Do you think people should carry concealed weapons permits? Let me ask you that.
If they're not felons and they qualify by state in order to keep and possess arms, yes.
I don't know how much information you have about people who carry weapons clandestinely on their body and the resulting tragedy.
What is this, Robert? What is this? Let's fast forward to the end here, because this is a coffee-driven show, and the rest of us don't have the patience for your nonsense. So go right to the end.
Question. Who is more intellectually dishonest, you or Mark Levine?
When did you stop beating your wife, sir?
You don't want to answer the question?
What do you mean intellect? Neither one of us is intellectually dishonest.
Father?
Neither one of us is intellectually dishonest.
Neither one of you are? Okay, then I'll answer the question for you. You are.
Okay.
You are. And you're not as bright as him.
Okay.
But you are, unfortunately, his illegitimate stepchild, I gather. Because
Robert,
everything that
Robert,
he says,
Robert, so far you've called up to announce yourself as an intellectual liberal. You've done nothing but insult me, Mark Levin, the callers. Everything is beneath you and stupid. You don't realize how ridiculous you sound. You called someone inbred.
Drew, I apologize. If
how's that liberalism in California working out? How's your state budget working? How's your government functioning? Yeah, okay, goodbye. Have a nice day. Go sit in the corner of your little pissed off, rotten world. You troll. What a moron. I want more of this. I want more of this. You see, these people don't call up to debate me on an issue. He didn't call up to speak about being a good steward of capital. He didn't call up to talk about whether or not Sherrod's comments on going to see your own kind is racist. He just wants to call up and show me how his belief in his intellectual superiority grants him some right to insult people he thinks are inferior without actually engaging them to prove he's intellectually superior. Like a typical liberal. And yes, you speak with a lisp, Robert. 1-866-95-PATRIOT. Robert, San Diego, you're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello.
Hi, I'm a medical researcher at the Scripps Institute down here in San Diego. I was in the office. I heard you say that you think that some of the Hollywood celebrities should do commercials for free for...
just the ones that pledged their support for the Obama agenda, pledged themselves to it. Do you remember those web ads they were putting out, pledging themselves?
Yeah, so I gather, I asked your screener, I gather you were serious when you said that.
I was 100% serious when I said that.
Also, just while I was listening to you, you were talking about defunding. You know, we get a certain amount of funding from the United States government for medical research. Are you suggesting they should not fund medical research?
Where is it in the Constitution that says that they should do that?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, you don't know. You don't know, right? You don't know.
I'm asking the question. That's all.
If it's not in the Constitution, the federal government shouldn't be doing it. Your state should be doing it. Now, I will tell you that there is a mention of that in Article 1, Section 8. Since you don't know, I will read it to you.
You don't have to. I'll take your word for it. But I'm only concerned about the fact that when you stop funding, you mean to stop it in every form, shape, and fashion for every program the government funds?
If the federal government... Okay, sir. If the federal government doesn't have the power to do something, how then does it do it?
I'm not a constitutional scholar. Maybe
no, but you just know you want the funding to come to you, which means, I'm explaining to you. If the federal government is inventing its powers for good, it can then invent its powers for evil.
Well, my perspective is, and I'm apolitical, I could care less. What I do care about is how the species as we know it today. If the American government, who has a responsibility to its constituency...
Where do you find that in the Constitution, sir?
If I may just finish before you cut me off. If the United States government has a responsibility to its constituency, the Americans, to govern in a responsible fashion, if they believe that assisting in the funding of medical research for the benefit of our species is for good, why would you want to cut that off?
So what you're saying is that the Constitution is secondary to your definition of the greater good.
The word Constitution never came out of my mouth, Mr. Wilkow.
But the federal government is governed by the Constitution, sir, whether you like it or not. That is the law of the land. That is the construct of the government. They have 18 enumerated powers, and that's it.
Well, they also fund the space program. Would you like them to cut that out as well? That's not in the Constitution.
Well, it would be very simple to put it in the Constitution, sir. They go ahead and make an amendment creating and establishing NASA.
I don't know what...
So just say it. Just have, sir, have the intellect and the honesty to say you don't believe... Sir, shut your mouth for a second. Shut your mouth until you're willing to say you don't believe in the Constitution.
To be terribly naive.
Shut up. Goodbye. You're a waste of my time. You're an idiot. You didn't even know that your funding's in the Constitution, you moron. That's the worst part. When things are coming to you, rightfully so, you're too dumb to even know it. So what are you researching? What are you researching with your lack of intelligence? To promote the progress of science and useful arts. One of the enumerated powers, dummy. Let's see, who do we have here? If you guys are holding your breath for that guy to come up with the cure for AIDS, you'll turn blue.